Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Appa in case you are new here. And I don't know what episode this is, but it is some episode, and I just wanted to update you guys on finishing halfway through my pre-licensure stage of a graduate entry nursing program. Yeah, I'm halfway done, not quite halfway done to the pre-licensure stage, which means halfway done to get my RN license, and I still have more to go. So yeah, I thought I would just do this video because I think it's important to update you guys on what has been happening during my semester and things like that. So I did update you guys halfway through the semester of my second semester, and I think that is the video before this, so that would be whatever episode number it is. So a little bit about my program, which I kind of knew but didn't know at the same time. So my program has two different phases, MN and MSN. But the MN itself is treated as its own program, if that makes any sense. So I didn't really know this, you guys. And I didn't know that's how it was going to be on my I-20, which is the work or not work permit, but the permission of me to stay here in the United States. So one thing which I do have to do is go to the International Student Office, not right now, but next spring. And I do have to get a new I-20, do the whole process of showing fundings to prove that I can fund my education to get a new I-20, which is a lot of work, and that has been on my mind. But whenever it's time to do that, I will have to do that. It's really frustrating that there's not a lot of international students in my program, and there is maybe two from the previous cohort that I communicated with. Well, I communicated with one of them, and she kind of told me that yes, I'm gonna have to go get a new work permit in order to continue, or not work permit, but my bad, I-20, in order to continue on to the MSN portion of this program. So one thing which I am a little bit sad about is that we have the summer break. Okay, you guys, and depending on what your situation is, you might either like this or you might not like this if you go to my program, is the summer break aspect. For me personally, this is not really helpful because, first of all, like I said, I'm an international student, right? So I can't just work off campus. I can't just do that. If anything I can do is to work on campus. And you guys, it's such a big school. It is very, very difficult to find just employment for summer, because I know for a fact that during the school year, I don't really have time, especially in professional school. You will rarely see full-time, 18 credit hour, nursing students working. Even if they do, they probably do PRN or something like that, which I obviously can't do because I need a job which is on campus, and most on-campus jobs want a particular schedule and expect you to at least work 10 to 20 hours depending. And it's kind of hard to find an on-campus job, especially with how big my school is. In my undergrad, it was a whole different story. I could just walk into a building and ask them, hey, are you hiring? All of that. But I can't do that here because they have a whole different system of their own, which is doing online. And I think that's just a big school thing, and I'm just gonna have to get used to it. But that is something I don't really find helpful. So it's not really helpful for me to have the summer break because I can't exactly work, and I can't do externships or internships either because I have to do those through a class for legal issues, you know what I mean? Because of my residency status, I can't just go and apply to any externships. And if I do them, then I have to do them through a class, and then I have to pay to take the class, you know, and it just makes no sense to do that. If that makes any, does that make any sense? Probably not. But anyways, from an international student perspective, what I'm trying to say is that having that break doesn't really help. Also, there are non-international students in my program who are not quite happy about having a break in the middle, just because, you guys, we want to move forward, okay? We are ready mentally. A lot of us are mentally prepared to just go on, do the curriculum, whatever is required, so we can do our specialties at the end of the day. So that is a con for me personally. I was told that a lot of people requested this break, but I honestly don't think that's the case, because if they did request it, why do other schools don't have any summer break and they go through the semester? So I don't really know what's going on with that. It's like a little iffy, but yeah, I don't really appreciate like this 3-month break. Like we're going to have intensives, and I don't like intensives either. Like you're just, you know, front loading for like a whole week, and that kind of makes me nervous, honestly speaking. And yeah, for like a whole week, and I'm not gonna enjoy that. That's just my personal opinion, but a lot of people would disagree with me, but please do so in a polite way. But yeah, I don't really like the whole like front loading aspect. So we did do that with a couple of my classes this semesters, but they were like all like non-clinical classes, so I can understand that. But like I probably would not want to like front load with a bunch of clinical focused classes, if that makes any sense. So skill wise, I feel like I do know quite a lot more. I mean, sometimes it got repetitive, honestly, but I don't think we will be learning any more new skills. I mean, taking giving medications, different routes, starting an IV, doing a blood draw. Those are the classic things you would do in like adult, you know, an adult acute care floor. And then also, I feel like there might be some lab skills for pediatrics and OB, but I don't think it's going to be like a lot of labs anymore. I think it's just going to be simply clinicals for the sake of hours. And they say it's experience, but I think the Board of Nursing requires a certain number of hours. Sometimes, depending on what patient you have, you might not be doing a lot, but that's just how the system works, unfortunately, and there's no go around it. And the way these accelerated programs are accredited is because they allow you more hours. They're able to give you more hours at teaching hospitals, at prestigious hospitals, than some school which is in a smaller town and, you know, is not really that known. So that's why they are accredited. But do know that sometimes some days will be redundant, some days you just will not do much, because that kind of seemed to be the case with me. So one of the things which I do want to teach myself this summer is going to be EKG. We briefly went through EKG in our lab, and I can do like basic EKG reading, but you guys, I feel like you will not learn a lot of EKG unless you get a job at a hospital, especially on a cardiac floor or something. You will have to take an EKG class, because basic nursing is not going to teach you like EKG stuff. I don't know about APRN stuff. I can't really speak about that right now. But from my understanding, nursing school doesn't specifically teach you a lot of EKG stuff. And I was talking to one of the nurses on the cardiac floor where I was doing my rotations, and she also said the same thing, that yeah, you kind of have to like teach yourself, and you know, you will take a class before you can work in like ICU, cardiac, those types of areas. So the third thing, which I kind of want to talk about, is pathophysiology. You guys, I am a science major. I have a lot of background in science. This pathophysiology class is something which I was absolutely not expecting it to be that way, the way it was, if that makes any sense. Like, my expectations were kind of just like, okay, so we're just gonna skip the physiology aspect. We didn't really do the physiology aspect anymore as much, and I was a little shocked by it. I am going to be honest about that. And it wasn't just me, it was a lot of students who were very, very shocked by the way the class was. I'm sure some people liked it because it was very like, you gotta memorize these signs and symptoms and that's going to be on the test. But I am one of those people who doesn't like half knowledge, and I want my full knowledge of pathophys. So what I'm going to do this summer is, other than teaching myself EKG, I will be teaching myself some of the pathophys, because I feel like I didn't quite grasp as much information that I should know. Because even at the clinical setting, even when I wrote my care plan, so our clinical instructors, they grade our care plans. One of the comments that my care plan instructor said was, you might want to look at your pathophys and review it. And granted, she's also a nurse practitioner, so maybe, you know, she obviously has taken advanced patho, so she has more of a background on what to like expect. But and the purpose of this program is to prepare us to be advanced nurses, correct? So maybe that's kind of what she was grading us at, but like, she still kind of said that you need to like review your pathophys. And I didn't really like that, because you guys, I don't want, like I said, I don't want half knowledge, and that really concerned me, honestly speaking. So hopefully I will be able to review my pathophys this semester, and, or not this semester, but this summer, and be able to apply it more in clinical settings in the next coming semesters. So a lot of practice and NCLEX exam, because I only want to take that test once and just get it out of the way. I don't want to have to retake it. I just want to prep for it, get it out of the way, and then move on to the FNP portion of my graduate entry program. It's not the same for everybody, because like I said, everyone has different requirements, everyone has different specialties, so it's not the same for everyone. What I know is that for the FNP, and also my mom is texting me, but we're gonna ignore that for a while. The FNP and the pediatrics one, you don't really need, the school doesn't require you to work at the bedside. Plus, I can't exactly work, like I said, because I'm an international student, so that's just out of the question. So yeah, I will not be taking a break, and I will be going straight through. And there are some other students in my program who are going straight through. So yeah, that's my end goal, you guys, and I want to achieve my end goal as much as anyone else wants to achieve their end goal. And everyone, like I said, everyone has different goals and different life circumstances. I know that some people really need to work. If you really need to work, go ahead, take that break, make some money, whatever. But I'm ready to take the next step, is what I'm trying to tell you. Anyways, other than that, I don't exactly know what else to tell you guys. So I'm not taking a break, which I already kind of mentioned. And I gave an explanation for that. And yeah, primary care versus acute care specialty. Basically, you guys, I know for a fact that I am suited better to work in a hospital setting. I do like clinics, don't get me wrong. I do volunteer at the student run health clinic. I just did that this last last Saturday. And what I did last Saturday was more from a social work perspective, and more of like how you would deal with like an incoming patient. I had never done that at a hospital because the patients are already kind of there when we get there. So I've never had an incoming patient, so that was a little bit interesting. And then I had to do some like social screening, which I have never done, and I don't think they even teach you to do that unless you are a nurse already. That's when you probably have to do that, especially if you're in an emergency room. You would do something like that. So that was kind of interesting to do. My preceptor, the clinical preceptor of our team, was a family nurse practitioner who also went straight through. She didn't do her undergrad here, but she did it somewhere else. But I asked her why she went straight through, and she was like, she was very focused on the idea of, becoming a primary care provider, and that there's not a lot of like opportunities in the outpatient settings to work as an RN, because most nurses who work in outpatient settings are LPNs. So that was her explanation. But anyways, with that being said, I know I'm going into a primary care specialty, and I will do a whole separate video on this, but I still want to kind of mention to you guys out there. And with me being a direct entry, like future MSN student, I'm most likely not going to have like RN experience in a hospital setting. So it's kind of nerve-wracking, because I really do enjoy like hospitals, and I see like internal medicine NPs and PAs, and what they do is something what I want to do. I enjoy this EKG stuff. I know some people who just don't want to deal with anything cardiac. They don't want to deal with anything hospital. They strictly just want to do like psych, which is fine. That's them. But I am not doing psych, and I want to work in a hospital. Family nurse practitioners do work in a hospital. I know that for a fact because I have seen them in the hospital, and I have seen them in ERs as well, depending on the location, of course. So yes, I'm gonna have to move in order to work in a hospital. Yes, I might work in a smaller community hospital, but my goal was never to work for a big level 1 trauma center hospital, if that makes any sense. I most likely will move away regardless, and that has been the plan. There are currently no relationship commitments that will keep me here in Cleveland. I just have not met anyone, so I most likely will move, and I will make sure the next person who comes into my life knows that that is something that I really want, is to work in a hospital, and that I want to move. So definitely with the whole NP situation, and I'm sure we'll do like I'll do a video on this like later on. One thing which I do want to mention is like location is the key for your employment, and you also want to look at how restricted a particular state is. So that is something I will talk about later on, and we'll just worry about it later on, because right now what I really need to do is finish up this pre-licensure stage. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I hope this video somewhat gave you an idea of like what has been going on with me. And also, if you have any questions, please just let me know down in the comments, and I will be more than happy to answer them. And also any video requests related to, you know, direct entry, MN, MSN, whatever, please just let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and talk to you guys later. Bye.